You can say Zebrahead, you could say Zebrahead, you could say shit sandwich. I'm easy, bro.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of Instant Mood Improver, the podcast where we talk about the music that puts a pep in your step, turns your frown upside down, and otherwise makes this miserable existence a little bit more enjoyable, if only for 3 to 3.5 minutes at a time. Today, I am joined by a man who has written many, many songs that have made many, many people happy. Ali from Zebrahead, or Zebrahead, as I'm sure he's going to correct me. How are you, Ali?
What's up, Brendan? I'm good, man. You can say Zebrahead, you could say Zebrahead, you could say shit sandwich. I'm easy, bro.
Shit sandwich. Now that sounds a
Has a ring
lot.
to it, right?
It really does. It really does have a ring to it. Up there with giant douche.
There you go. That's the first single, I feel like.
Yeah. Hey, we're shit sandwich. This song's called Giant Douche.
I would listen to that, unfortunately, you know?
So would I. Isn't that the first Limp Bizkit album? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay.
I love Danny Durst. He's fine. Of course, this is a podcast all about music that makes you feel happy, improves your mood instantly as soon as you hear it. So I'm curious, Ellie, what is music that does that for you? Is there a song that springs to mind?
Man, I mean, so I feel like my answer is kind of going to be the exact opposite of what you want because um I often listen to kind of like moody music when I'm happy. So like there's a band called The Drums that I really like, but like if you listen to the lyrics, they're not super like happy, but I don't know, the music is like I don't know, it makes me happy. Kind of I kind of feel the same about like The Cure. I feel
Yep.
like their music makes me happy, but it's like sad music. I don't know. It for me, I tend to lean that way when I'm all happy and wanting to listen to music.
Yeah, that's a completely acceptable answer. We've had everything from we've had people from metalcore and deathcore bands talking about Kelly Rae Jepsen through to
There you
people
go.
like yourself talking about like goth music and whatnot. And it doesn't really matter what it is as long as it vibes with you. It kind of
Totally.
gets to the larger point of music, which of course is connecting to other human beings and sharing stories. And I mean, I'm
100%.
happy to hear that you've mentioned the drones are Australian, are they not? And then
I don't know.
also
Are they? I
they
didn't know
are,
that.
they are.
Oh, that was by accident. I didn't even know that.
And then The Cure, I mean, all-time greats, and
Yeah.
a band that I also find to be quite uplifting to listen to, if I'm being honest.
Oh, cool.
I will
Okay.
sometimes turn to them to improve my mood.
Yeah.
And I've got a best mate who grew up in the like the 2000s, like emo scene, punk scene, like I did, who is similarly inclined. He'll listen to Disintegration to perk him up in the morning.
I need to hang out with that dude.
Now, so what do you think it is about this somber, this more somber, chill music, I suppose, that improves your mood?
I have no idea. I really don't know what it is, but whenever I listen to certain bands, I just feel better. Like another one that's kind of sad, and they call it dad rock, but like the National. I love the National, and like whenever I listen to them, I'm in a good mood. And I don't know what that. I think that says more about me than it does the music. So I think I need to go see a psychologist or something.
You don't. What works for you works for you. That's something that people lose sight of a lot in this life.
All
You
right,
don't need to
all
worry
right.
about what other people think, just about what works for you. And you kind of made a career out of not worrying about what other people think, really. I mean, like your band bridges the divide between like rap and rock and pop punk and ska and core and a million different genres. So if you were listening to anyone else's opinions, you probably wouldn't have done that.
It's true. It's true. We're a mishmash of everything, and I again, I think like everybody in our band has different influences. Like I bet you if you ask our drummer what he listens to when he's happy, it's going to be drastically different than what I listen to, and that goes for everybody in the band. So when we come together to work on music, it's like all these different influences get shoved into one song, and for some reason with us it works. So. That's something that I actually love about our band that we can like have punk and metal and hip hop and fuse them all together and create a song.
Do you find that it seems less weird or less unusual to listeners now than it ever has, because the concept of genre is not really this hard and fast thing anymore. Like these worlds all blend in multiple songs frequently, even in the mainstream, let alone in the underground. Do you feel like your band makes more sense now?
Yeah, I do, and I'll give you a reason for that. Is when we were first starting out, and even till recently, people didn't know what to do with us with festivals, like because they didn't know if we should be on more of like Warped Tour or it should be more like of a metal festival, or we've been played with like Cypress Hill back in the day, and so like it's been all over the place for us, and I think it's kind of been harder for us to get on shows because of it. But like you said, nowadays, I feel like people are more open-minded, and that like we're getting a lot more a variety of festivals that we're getting on. We're touring with different bands, and I think that's has a lot to say about the fans nowadays, where you can cross genres and nobody like gets butthurt about it, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty fun and freeing. It's probably one of the small benefits of the streaming era. Now, there are obviously a lot of not so beneficial elements of that for musicians. Uh, I'm also aware of these in my personal life.
Sure, sure.
But one of the bonuses, I guess, of playlist culture is that people have become accustomed to hearing several different things in an hour or in whatever, and that does free up people's minds to accept differentiating things. Now, that also has enabled a whole new generation of people to come aboard the Zebrahead Express and to learn about your band. Have you been noticing a younger turnout at these shows recently?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, man. I feel like we're very fortunate because when you come to a Zebrahead show, there are the hardcore fans that have been following us since we started. And then there's also them bringing their kids to the shows. And then even more recently, like younger people hearing of us through like video games or like wrestling or something, and they're super young. And so we have this huge range of fans that come to these shows. And that's something we don't take for granted because we understand, you have to have a base that will support you. And then you also need new fans to appreciate so your fan base can grow. And we've been very lucky with that. And I do notice that more recently now than ever.
Does it blow your mind that you have fans that have children they're bringing with them now that are old enough
Yeah.
and you're still kicking around playing music?
It's crazy, man. It is so weird, but it's such a cool thing to see as well because it's like these people that we've been friends with for decades, right? And I remember all the debauchery things we did together, and now they have like, oh, this is my, 10-year-old daughter, and they're like a whole different person, and you get to experience that, them growing and having a family and stuff, and then hanging out with them in a different way. So it's weird and it's great, man. It's lovely to be able to do that.
It's awesome. Now you are coming down to Australia for the first time in like 7 years, in like 2 weeks, which is obviously very exciting for fans in Australia, but also probably pretty exciting for you because this would be one of the longer gaps you've had coming between visits to Australia.
Oh man, we are so excited. I think we were supposed to come around when the pandemic was happening and everything obviously got canceled. And ever since then, we've been trying to come back, and we were fortunate enough to get this offer to come and hang out with our friends over there. And I'm not lying, that's like the guys in the band, that's all we've been talking about for like the last 3 months. So we're really excited. We might not leave, is what I'm saying.
I mean, a lot of people don't. There's a lot of land in Australia. You
That's
can,
gonna be us, man. That's gonna be us. Can we stay with you for a while until we figure it
sure,
out?
sure.
All right, I will take you up on that.
I'm sure my other half will be thrilled to have another person in
Don't
this two
say
bedroom
anything. We'll
apartment.
surprise them. We'll surprise them. It's good.
She's saying no.
She's right there.
Yeah.
You have to tell me if she's right there, bro.
No. She's fine. She's in the kitchen. She's in the kitchen. But yeah, that's awesome. Now, you've been busy during the time that since you've been here. What do you feel like is something that Australian fans have been missing out on from the last more than half a decade of the Zebrahead catalog?
I mean, I feel like, since Adrian's been in the band, we haven't been back there. So I'm really excited for everybody to meet Adrian and to watch him play live. He's so talented. We're so stoked to have him in the band. And just those songs that, that have we've written with him and our experience in the last 7 years that we had obviously hadn't had a chance to come to Australia, but kind of get a feel of, things that we've been thinking about or the songs that we've been working on. We're really excited to have the fans in Australia check them out. And more than anything, though, honestly, is like the live shows in Australia always blow our minds. The energy of the fans and the crowd. So we can't wait just to get the back and forth of that when we play the shows.
So now you have been doing this since like way back in '96, which is a long, long time ago. I mean, I was
Yeah.
just starting school. Uh,
Hey, me too. I was like five, I think. 5, 4.5.
checks out, checks out.
Yeah, right.
You
Okay.
really started out life
Oh,
as
dude,
a
we're really good at math together. I
yeah,
feel
we
like
are, aren't we?
we should tutor kids.
You really started it. Obviously, the band started out as accounting melody.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zebra or whatever.
Yeah, that is. Hey, you learned that too. Cool.
Yeah. ABZ 1, 2, 3.
I
Uh,
learned more of my most of my ABCs from the Jackson 5.
I think I think everyone did. That's a universal language. That's a universal
So
language.
true. So
Now,
true.
the point of that, though, me starting way back in '96, is to say that it must be getting bloody hard to decide what to play. So, what is there songs that you include on the set list that still make you excited to play? That you love seeing people's responses to, or that you just know are gonna bring a super uplifting vibe to your world.
We've kind of taken a different approach to figuring out our set list. Um, we try to only because oftentimes, like I was talking to Ben, our bass player, about this. When you go to a show and you haven't seen a band in a long time, and then like they'll play everything but the songs you want to hear, right? And that's the like, oh God, why? I just want to hear the, you know what I mean? So we talked about that, and we didn't want that to happen to us. So we actually do a little research before we make up our set list, and we'll like say we're playing Munich or something. We'll go and see what people in Munich specifically, what order of songs that they stream, because that's something that you can check out now. And so we'll try to match our set list the best we can with the songs that they want to hear. And we'll try to do that everywhere so that, when people come to the shows, it's for the most part the songs they're hoping to hear and the songs that they're like gonna be more excited to like mosh to or dance to or whatever it is. So that's kind of our vibe now is we do a little research before we make our set list at each city.
See, the technology sucks, but it also rocks.
Right? It's just how you maneuver through it, I guess.
You move through it. That's
Uh,
it. That's pretty smart, really. I'm curious to see what Australia has guided you to play.
that's a surprise. That's a surprise. I don't
That's
want
a
to ruin it for
surprise.
anyone.
I'm
But
sure
we are
the
learning. We are learning songs. So relearning.
relearning songs. That
Some of
sounds like
them have been a minute. So
that sounds like you had a label that did a good job at some point in time.
right. Yes. Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
funny how songs pop off in different regions, though. And Australia is notorious for that, actually. Like, you'll frequently have bands come out here that are surprised that a song hits really large. Like, I saw the metal band Sabaton a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they were playing a song called Gallipoli, which hits massively in Australia because it's about a battle that part of Australia's national identity was built around. And they hadn't played it for like a decade or something before that. And but they bring it out in Australia, and it's like it goes off. So I'm curious to see what the Zebrahead version of that is.
Right. I wonder if they do that too. They're like get on Spotify or whatever, and they're like, "What's our number one streaming song here?" You know?
Now you play with a lot of bands over the years, and you've probably had a chance to hook up with some of your heroes that you were listening to growing up. So much like people probably freak out when they meet you for the first time if they've been a fan of the band for a long time. Do you remember the last time you freaked out meeting a musician?
Um, a good one is it's a stupid story. But we were playing a festival and my buddy comes up. we were backstage, and he goes, "Hey, Dave Grohl's standing right there." I'm a huge, obviously, everybody loves Dave Grohl. So I'm like, oh, he's like, I just talked to him for 20 minutes. He was the nicest dude. And he's like, you should go talk to him because he knew I was a fan of his. So I was like, ah, so nervous, so nervous. And I walked up to him and I go, "Hey, Mr. Grohl, my name is Ali from a band called Zebrahead." He goes, "Mr. Grohl?" He goes, "Who the fuck are you talking to, bro? I'm Dave. Just call me Dave." And so like that whole thing was crazy to me. And just calling him Mr. Grohl was such a bonehead thing to do. But like that was the last time I was pretty nervous talking to somebody. But he was the sweetest guy, very lovely person.
That's a wonderful story to hear, isn't it? I had a similar experience with Eddie Vedder once. So,
Oh wow, I love Better too, though.
yeah, that was like backstage at a festival as well, and he was like he was so nice. Like he's like, "Hi, I'm Eddie." It's like I'm aware. you're
That's
headline,
amazing.
you're headlining the festival, but it's just funny. Like you try so hard uh not to show that kind of giddy enthusiasm, but we are deep down all music geeks.
All of us are fans,
That
man, you know?
Yeah, and it's nice to see those moments. And I mean, that's how you would have gotten to this in the first place. So, what was the music that led you down the garden path that resulted in Zebrahead?
Man, growing up, I used to love playing basketball with my friends, and they were all heavy in hip hop. So I grew up listening to like Ice Cube and Tribe Called Quest and Cypress Hill. And that was kind of what got me really heavily into music. And then our bass player, Ben, once I was like a senior in high school, I started hanging out with him a lot, and he was into like No Effects and like Metallica and Motley Crue and all like different kinds of metal music. And for me, learning that style of music and understanding that the reason I like hip hop for me was it was aggressive, it was like had a lot of energy to it. And this was on the other side, a different genre, but it had the same vibe. You know, like it had a lot of energy, like it made me want to mosh or jump up and down, you know, back in the day play basketball. So just I've always liked energetic music. And I think that was my segue into getting into music myself was like learning these hip hop songs from back in the day, like the Cypress Hill verse. And Ben would play his bass line, the Cypress Hill bass line, and I'd go up and rap in between his like rehearsals with his other bands. So that's kind of how I got into it, was just being a huge fan of hip hop and then eventually metal and punk and all that stuff.
Yeah, that works naturally too when you think about the sound of the band. That all those things mixed together does kind of make up the sound with the individual personas injected into it.
It's true, it's true.
Now, do you have many people tell you that they've had children that were conceived to your music, or like weddings that have been soundtracked?
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure people have come to it at some point, like probably really fast though, because it's like a fast song. But a lot of like, oh, you know, we've had people come propose during our set, stuff like that, which is a real honor for us, obviously, that we would be considered like that for people. But yeah, it's always, you know, really interesting to be like involved in the like playlist of somebody's life, you know, in that way. So, and the music's done that for me growing up. It's still to this day. So, you know, I understand it, and but it's just like it's weird when it's your music, you know.
Yeah, but it's like it is nice. That would be nice to be involved in people's soundtracks. So I know that's how I remember life. I don't know if it's how you remember moments in your life, but music plays a
Yeah,
big role in it. It's kind of
absolutely.
it's a time machine. Going to a band, see a band can be a time machine. As
100%.
soon as you see the band walk out on stage, like say you get out there and you play like Playmate of the Year or like something like that, people get taken back to the moment they first heard that song,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for
that's
sure.
usually a joyful thing to
Yeah.
experience.
Hopefully. Hopefully it wasn't a sad part of your life, but that happens too, I guess, you know.
Of course it does. Like, and that's a good thing. Like you're touching on earlier, like you listen to kind of somber music or more chill music to make yourself feel good. Well, sometimes just the experience of being at a show and experiencing that same emotional wavelength with like thousands of other people or hundreds of other people can be an uplifting experience, right? Because
For sure, yeah.
you're all feeling those
Sure.
same emotions at once, and we don't get a chance to do that very often in the modern world, where everyone is all doing one thing at the same time without distraction,
Yeah.
existing on one wavelength. That's what goes down at a concert, and I feel like it's one of its most wonderful attributes.
I agree. I agree. Especially nowadays, it's harder to do than ever before. So it's cool that that music can still do that for people.
Yeah. I don't really have much longer, but I do want to chat to you about something that I find really interesting about Zebrahead, and that is that you are massive in Japan. And as are the Interrupters. It's an interesting thing. Uh, how did that happen?
Man, I wish I could tell you. It was just kind of something when we first started out. I think our very first international festival was in Japan. It was Fuji Rock Festival, and um, once we went over there, um, just the fan base kind of took off. I don't obviously it had a lot to do with our label and everything that they did for us. But ever since then, every time we go back, it just keeps maintaining, if not growing bigger. And we're just very lucky, man. I don't know what it is. I wish I did. I would tell everybody to do it, you know. But it's like the coolest place too to have that happen. Ben told me the other day he calculated the amount of time um, that we've been there, and if you put it all together, it's about 2 years of our lives. Isn't that crazy to tour there for that long? So we're love it, and we couldn't have asked for a better place to have a following. But yeah, man, it's crazy. You got to come with us. It's just bonkers out there.
Sounds amazing. I'm in a much smaller scale band than you, a little sort of punk slash emo band called Catholic Guilt, and we're very much looking at doing Japan for this reason. Like, it's just such an interesting cultural difference, and they love music over there. Like when I visit as a tourist, like record stores are still going wild, and like there's in-store appearances, and there's people rocking up. They own like 15 copies of a record, or like
Yeah,
it's just, and they just appreciate music in a way that I think most people did in the 90s, more so than what people do now. And that has to be, does it kind of, is it, it's obviously refreshing as a band to have that reception. But it's weird because the society is so futuristic in many ways, but
yeah.
then that part is so retro.
Yeah, I feel like Japan is a crazy mix of being traditional and being innovative, and as far as like even the food is it balances both, the culture, the personality of the people. It's just a beautiful place. Anybody that asks me, hey, out of all the places you've been, where would you recommend somebody to go? And I always say, if you can, make your way to Japan and just experience that culture, because it's so unique and it's pretty amazing.
Is it your biggest region?
Crazy, crazy. We've been doing really well in Europe now, Germany especially. So we're very fortunate that we have other markets too. We've been going to England quite a bit. Yeah, man, it's just I feel like lately we've been on a really lucky a string of um, uh, uh, tours and festivals that have allowed us to grow our fan base in different places.
That's awesome. It's fun getting a chance to chat to people who've been in the game for as long as you have, and they're still finding new and exciting and innovative experiences for themselves. And you can
You
just
have
see it.
to, right?
You can see it on your face. Like, I mean, I don't want to spoil things for people who might not be familiar with how old you are, but dude in his 50s. He does not look like he's in his 50s
Oh,
whatsoever.
thanks, man. I feel like I owe you a beer now.
I mean, I'll set the date for said beer. Friday the 10th of October at Max Watts. You owe me a beer.
I'm gonna get it tattooed on my arm so I don't forget.
That's all right. Before we do check off on this episode here, I am curious to know who the last band you played with that you absolutely loved seeing play is.
Okay, so we just played a couple of shows in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas with our friends in Goldfinger, and I've known them for decades. And they had their horn section was our friends from Real Big Fish. So I got to spend time with them. And then Mike Herrera of MXPX played bass. and old friends. So it was just lovely to catch up with everybody and see them playing because I'm a big fan of them as well. So I would say just Goldfinger recently, last weekend.
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful answer. And Goldfinger also heading out to Australia soon, which makes me quite excited myself. Because true
Nice.
story, if you ask me to name one song that instantly improves my mood the moment I hear it, the answer is Superman by Goldfinger.
Great song. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason is it takes me back to being a teenager playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
There you go.
and
See?
there was nothing, it's just a joyous song and there was nothing to worry about at that point in time in your life, right? Like you're just trying to
Totally.
figure out how to hit the high combo. Like that's that's
Totally.
it.
What button do I press again, dude?
Yeah, and that's like a wonderful place to be back in. And there'll
Yeah,
be heaps of people reliving their video game experiences brought to life when you hit the stages in Australia,
let's
because
hope so.
that is a an area within which people can find your music as well, and many people have over the years. Uh, so yeah, that more or less brings us to an end of this rather. Let's just say it was early morning, and I was trying to think my way
I feel for
through
you, bro. I'm not a morning person at all.
through an episode of Instant Mood Improver. I'm going to go and have myself a coffee. Ali's like probably going to go to bed or something.
I know it's almost that time for me,
Yeah, but I do need to know if you're from LA and you love basketball, are you a Lakers fan or a Clippers fan?
dude. The what? Come on, Luca, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton now, Marcus Smart, dude. What's the other team you said?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know that team.
They're in trouble for fraud or something.
I mean, who cares, right?
I thought the whole team was a fraud. I'm a Suns fan, so yeah, have fun with DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Old school Barkley.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. All right, that brings us to the end of this episode of Instant Mood Improver with Ali from Zebrahead. Thank you very much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks in Melbourne. Um, and yeah, Luana, I know this is like one of your favorite bands in the world, my mate Luana. So here's Ali.
Luana. Brendan, I owe you a beer. Don't forget when you come to the show. Remind me.